Welcome, YouTube. Well, recently I did a video. It was really interesting, I thought at least. And it was like 8 thought-provoking questions, okay, that you, the CEO, could be asking yourself for year-end planning. And here, this will kind of be the sister video. And in this one, we're going to talk about, as you do your goal planning, okay, what types of things might you consider as goals? So if you run a method like OKRs, or EOS, those would be your rocks. Okay, so what are your objectives basically for 2025 when you're doing some planning? So in this video, I'll just go through lots of different ideas here, sort of like I said, the sister video to the thoughtful questions. And these are things that'll hopefully, make your business better, earn you some more money, and give you more peace of mind. Okay, before we get started, my name is Luke Peters. And just a little bit about my background. I started my company in the garage right around 2001, sold it in 2021 to private equity in a mid 8-figure exit. And I learned a lot through the way. Started with no capital, just bootstrapped it through cash flow, never took on any investors until the very end when we sold and recapitalized. So learned a lot. I think I can relate to the smaller companies and the larger companies since we kind of worked our way through all levels. So, okay, let's get into this one. The first is in 2025, what are our objectives going to be, right? And you're looking at, sales, marketing, operations, and finance, and all the different facets of your company. I always start with the product, right? What is your value proposition? Okay. So, and then if I'm working with somebody, it's like product market fit. Let's understand your product market fit, how it fits into the ecosystem and the competition, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go back to product. What product innovation can you come up with in 2025? I say this because, new product development is one of the top ways to grow your business. Obviously, there's improvements on sales and marketing and leadership, but new product development, okay, this is a hard one, but it's like you're going to get enduring gains when you do successful new product development. What new product development are you working on right now and in 2025? Do you have goals and objectives around that? How transformational is this new product development, right? Is it just a line extension? Is it just going to add a couple percent? Or do you have anything that's transformational? Ideally, you're going to have both. You're going to have some line extensions, right? Because every year you got to be phasing in as stuff sort of phases out, right? But what's transformational? Do you have something that's maybe a new category for you, or something with maybe more IP or some design that you feel could be transformative to your business? I think that should be a goal every single year. So the next idea is sort of marketing breakthroughs. A lot of times marketing can be outsourced. And while that's good, the challenge there is, when you're outsourcing to a group, there can be sort of a level of comfortability that happens after a year or two or three. It's your job as the CEO to make sure you're driving that, right? And that's why sometimes people will change agencies, every couple of years, because it's like, you got to instill that new drive. Okay, what else can we push towards? Everybody's getting too comfortable here. But I'll give you a couple specific things. How about your reviews? Okay, reviews play a huge role. Depends on what you're selling, right? A physical product, software, whatever it may be, service. Where are your customers learning about you? How can you double your reviews next year? That would be a great question to ask. How can you double? Do you have a program now that focuses on generating authentic reviews, real reviews, and also potentially generating video reviews in some of the different platforms that allow for that? Do you have that? If you don't have it, why don't you have it? Okay. The bigger question is like, you want to build your brand, but the place to start, especially in today's economy, is just start with the reviews. It's the easiest one. It's a low-hanging fruit. Building a brand takes years, but if you build up a massive amount of reviews, okay, that's an asset that your company has about your product, your company. It's so valuable. And of course, we all know that on Amazon, right? That's a no-brainer on Amazon. It actually becomes a moat. But if you're selling elsewhere, if you have a different service, it can be equally as powerful. And so that's a specific one I would bring into the planning. So, sales and sales breakthroughs, do we find new leverage, better strategy? So for sales, I would say, okay, these are, commonplace, but it's like, okay, what new customers can we sell to? And are we selling all of our products to all of our customers? And then also looking at the competition, sales can directly, it should be directly working with product, right? So we're selling, X, Y, and Z, but our competition is also selling ABC, and so maybe there's some line extensions. A lot of times, you as the CEO know these answers, right? But there's like 20 other things you're working on. Okay. So how much time do you put into, again, back to new product development? But that goes hand in hand with sales. I mean, it's so powerful. Like your sales team, they need this extra, gunpowder. They need something new to be working on and something exciting to share with your customers. So, okay, strategic planning. So hopefully, let's back up here. You have a strategic planning system, right? Do you have OKRs? Are you doing something that's formal? Okay, a lot of companies are not. If you are, that's great. But believe it or not, a lot of companies do not have a formalized process. So do you have a formalized process? Is it communicated? At what level is it communicated? Is it communicated all the way down? Does every rank at the company, every individual participate? If not, where does it stop, right? How much buy-in is there with your organization, okay? So during this process of coming up with the OKRs and objectives, was it all you? Was it mostly you? How much buy-in and creative capacity did your team bring to that? So you have to create buy-in all the way down, okay? Everybody at the company should have objectives in 2025. And again, this is like really difficult to do. It's a lot easier to do to your direct reports, but then your direct reports have to, in turn, scale that all the way through the company. Okay, so another goal and objective would be margin optimization. Okay, so I kind of talked about this in the other video. Do you understand your margins at the product transaction level? Okay, are you able to literally look at that through the, most people can look at it overall, and then most can see all their customers. Okay, this customer, my final net margin is this. Not every company, by the way. Okay, so a lot of companies are sort of lacking there, but my final margin is this from this customer, and it's a little bit higher from this one. But then how about each product transaction at each customer? And you'll find out, of course, you're losing money on many transactions, or you're breaking even. And a lot of them are just, they're not worth doing. And you're running out of inventory, but then you're selling it at a loss. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So margin optimization, understanding your margin, having finance create the right visibility on reporting. Okay, so, and then we could talk about this for a while, but here's what I would say. What I would say is the problem is that I've seen finance will create some reporting. First of all, oftentimes the reporting is not even accurate. Okay, so you have to have a way to double and triple check your reporting. You have to actually pull a transaction and follow that all the way through and make sure all the costs are in your system. But what I've seen is that in the finance, because the culture in finance is different, right? But oftentimes there's not a problem-solving culture. So what I've seen is sometimes, things are reported, but, solutions are not going to be there. So you want them to be solution oriented on this. Okay. So not only are they, you starting some new process where maybe every week they're pulling up, 100 transactions that you're not making money on, but there's an action. Okay. They're going to work with sales, and there's that great, somewhat combative, but important communication between sales and finance. And they're solving that problem, and they're preventing that order from happening again in the future, right? And you do this throughout the whole year, and it's a process, and you get through the year, and you're going to be like, wow, margins went up 4% on this customer, or whatever the case may be. So you're going to start seeing that. It's going to make huge bottom line improvements to your company, and you won't be, having your whole company working and shipping and processing orders. We're not making money. So that's a great one to go through. Leadership and cultural development. Most of your team will be seeking to develop themselves, right? I mean, especially, your direct reports, they want to grow. They want to know, hopefully, they understand what growth means and where, what their next target is, not just as far as KPIs, but as far as, title and personal growth within the company. So what leadership opportunities and training do they have access to? So that's always an important one to think about. Optimizing your meeting structures. Have you reset your meeting structures? Have you looked at how you could improve your meeting, create more accountability, have others creating the agendas, have streamlined approach where you're using the same template, where you're setting the tone for your team, right? That is huge. And then your team can learn from that, and they're going to set the tone for their reports. It all starts with you, as the CEO founder. So if you're kind of showing up late and you're not prepared, I mean, honestly, they're going to take off from that. And that lackadaisical attitude is going to carry through the organization. And then, think about every year you should be thinking about exit planning. where are you with that? Okay, where's your margin? How last 3 years of sales growth, your management team, your accounting systems and reporting, and do you have audited financials? Can you get there if you don't? These types of things, and there's many more questions, but being prepared so when the time comes, it goes on your terms, right? There's not a surprise bump. You're out of cash, you're forced sell, and that's a big loss for you. So you want to be prepared and put yourself in the right position. And then, of course, the question video earlier, I said, CEO life balance. So thinking about like your work-life balance and your, sleep habits and nutrition and fitness. But here, this is a great time year end to think about your team. Okay. How are they doing? Are there ways that you can support the team? And it's a great way to truly care about your team. But when they see that, they're going to respect you more and they're going to want to do a better job because you care about them. You care about, maybe you hopefully know about their family life. And these are, certain questions that you can show that you give a damn and really want the best for your team. When you work with your team in that manner, I mean, they're going to perform much better. So that's just something to think about, that, employee work-life balance, which I think is kind of oftentimes, that word brings up different thoughts of kind of like, oh, work-life balance usually means work less. But no, what it means is, look, your team can grind and work hard, but when there's a sense of caring within the company, okay, then people feel appreciated. And that's a basic human requirement. Okay. So anyways, listen, I hope, this kind of stirred up some ideas for your Q4 planning, maybe give you something else to think about, and, some other targets or OKRs or rocks to put on your list and work with your team. If you're getting going, just make sure like the ideas come from your team. You can always steer the ideas, right? From behind the scenes, you're like, okay, I need these three things to happen. But there's always a way to do it where your team comes up with those three things. And maybe, you send a couple notes around or something, or you nudge those ideas into the planning. But I'll tell you what, if they come up with that plan and they own it, and then then they make up their own OKRs and the results and the scorecard is, and the timeline, okay, it comes from them, and then they report to you. Wow. I mean, it's going to create fire in the company. Okay. You guys are just it can transform the company. It's really, really good stuff. So I hope this was valuable. Please like and subscribe. It helps me quite a bit. I'm starting out this new channel. And also, if you want to learn more about Apex CEO and what I do and how I work with other clients, just schedule a meeting. You can just see the link below, apexceo.co. Go to the calendar, schedule a free 15-minute strategy talk, and you can learn a lot more there. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.